Iron is one of the micronutrients that has been associated with hidden hunger. It is a nutrient that we can obtain from both plant and animal sources. But then most people are not getting enough. Therefore, there is a lot of iron deficiency. And when the iron deficiency starts, it graduates into iron deficiency anemia. And when this happens, there are so many consequences. The individual becomes very tired, so there is fatigue. There is also weakness. There is also the skin can be very pale. The eye can be very pale. And there can also be shortness of breath. Dizziness is also very common. And it is also something that affects a lot of pregnant women, because when you are pregnant, you need a lot of blood. And iron is one of the nutrients that is important in blood formation. So when there is lack of iron, then what it means is that blood cannot be formed. And therefore, all activities in the body cannot be performed properly, because even when we eat, all the nutrients should travel through the blood. So once there is iron deficiency, blood formation is at risk, and it is associated with all kinds of body malfunctioning. Children also suffer iron deficiency, and the same thing applies to them. They become very tired, they cannot form blood properly, and we know that blood is the main carrier for all the nutrients. After we've eaten, it's been absorbed, it goes into the blood for transportation. So if children are not getting enough blood, then what it means is that we are actually predisposing them to malnutrition. So then it becomes a major challenge. It can also affect their brain, because the brain will need a lot of oxygen to be carried there, and the oxygen has to be carried in the blood. So if there is lack of iron for the children, it means that we are retarding their development in general. And some of them might not be able to perform even well at school, because if you are not eating very well, you are not eating iron-rich foods, of course, you cannot get enough energy, and the brain needs energy. And iron plays an important role when it comes to energy metabolism. At the last stage where a lot of energy is derived, iron plays an important role in what we call the electron transport chain. And therefore, if you are not giving, the children are not getting enough iron from the foods that eat, then we will not be able to help them. And we can get the iron from both plant sources and animal sources. And the plant sources, we have green leafy vegetables, and then all our beans is a good example. And in the black-eyed pea is very common. Sometimes people complain about the flatulence or discomfort when they eat meat, but you can remove the husk, and then the rest, the thing is in the main core of the pea that you can get the iron. And currently there has been biofortification. So we have some of the black-eyed peas that have been fortified, at the growing stage, at the agricultural stage. So we have the iron rich in them that can be used. And then of course, the animal sources, we have all kinds of meat and fish. But when you compare the plant source and then the animal source, the plant source has iron in the form of iron 3, whereas the animal source has the iron 2, which is easily absorbed. But with the plant, the iron 3 has to be reduced to iron 2. And in this case, we need vitamin C. We need vitamin C as a reducing agent to help reduce the iron from iron 3 to iron 2. And where do we get the vitamin C from? All our citrus fruits are wonderful. All our citrus fruits are wonderful. So we encourage that we eat fruits in addition to eating all our fruits. And then fruits also good for the children. So giving the children pawpaw in addition to whatever they've eaten as an example, they can also get the vitamin C from there. And then they can also get vitamin A. Vitamin A also works synergetically with the iron. It aids in the absorption. So children also suffer. So we need to look at the diet of our children, especially the first 1,000 days, which when they are being given complementary food, because breast milk itself does not contain a lot of iron. Studies have shown, initially we said there was none, but current studies show that there is some small amount, but that is not enough. So the best thing is to give the children iron-rich foods during the complementary feeding. And we have a number of cereal-based foods that the food industry has made, and then some are also locally that are rich in iron. So we need to look at food labels when we are buying our food. So I want to reiterate the fact that one can be iron deficient, but one might not show signs of anemia. Because most of the time when we go to the hospital, our hemoglobin is checked. And that hemoglobin can be okay, but note that the individual might be iron deficient because it's a gradual process. So we have most people walking around who are iron deficient. So I will encourage everybody, eat a lot of greens, eat a lot of vegetables, and this goes for both adults and children, and especially pregnant women. And it is important that as we eat our greens, we should also add small animal products, because studies have shown that with the addition of small animal products, we have what we call the MFP factor, M for meat, F for fish, P for poultry, and they aid in the absorption of the iron from plant sources. Because when it comes to Africa, majority of us depend upon the legumes and the greens. But it is important that we add small amount of meat, fish, or poultry so that it can boost the absorption, and then also eating together with our fruits and vegetables. Sometimes somebody may ask why we have the vitamin C also in the leaves. Yes, but the way we cook our food long in Africa, heat destroys the vitamin C. And also sometimes even when we just cook it or steam it shortly, we throw the water away. The vitamin C leaches into the water and is thrown away. That is why I encourage that fruit a day. So an orange a day, pawpaw a day can help you get your iron and be strong. And our children will also be strong. They will be intelligent. They can perform well in school. So sometimes our children not performing in school, it is nothing. They are iron deficient. They are iron deficient. So to eradicate iron or alleviate iron deficiency so that we don't get to anemia, it is important that we have a multidisciplinary approach where we look at government policies. Advocacy is key here. We need a lot of education. We need Ministry of also to come out, the extension services, so that they can be a team to really address this. So let us look at it as across the food system. So from agriculture all the way till we get food on our table. So industry comes in. So in making this coalition, we need to have industry as part of this so that we can leverage on iron, so that we improve. A lot of industry will come out with iron fortified foods. We also have education at the schools, at the grassroots levels in the communities for them to consume a lot of iron rich foods. Once we do this, then we will not be able to get to the anemia stage. We will halt it there. So a lot of advocacy is needed here, and a lot of multidisciplinary approach is needed. We now need to do this so that people will understand the root cause. If we don't alleviate iron deficiency, we cannot alleviate anemia. So alleviating iron deficiency is the key to solving our anemia problem.